Here you go. Go on.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, whatever. We'll start. And Angie will come whenever she'll come. I'm excited to be here. I'm very grateful to be here in this space with all of you. My name is Andrés Santiago Piña. I'm Dominican, 100%, nací en la República Dominicana en Santo Domingo. I have an MFA in acting from Columbia University, and I'm also a writer. And I specialize, I guess you can use that word, in solo work, because solo work for me is the most personal aspect of the theater. And it's the most intimate part of the theater. And I'm excited to get to know all of you. And we're gonna play around and do some prompts and see what comes up. But before we do that, I really wanna go around and I wanna know your name, where you're from, where you at right now, and what is your favorite ice cream? Let's do that one. So my name is Andrés Santiago Piña, yo soy de la República Dominicana y estoy viviendo ahora mismo en Harlem. En mi favorito helado, my favorite ice cream is, okay, I have to think. My favorite ice cream. My favorite ice cream is, my favorite ice cream is boring. I like mango. I'll do mango. My favorite ice cream is mango. How about that? So yeah, Angie, I just said to introduce themselves, where they're from, where are they currently, and what's their favorite ice cream.
Yeah, I think another good question would be how many of you are actually interested in telling your stories via theater? We want to know, a show of hands, who are those folks? Because we have some great stuff coming up and you might be a great, how do you say, a great person for it, a great participant for it?
Well, I have a feeling like that everybody here is very excited to be a part of like the theater solo form. Well, I mean, they wouldn't be here, right?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Some people just come to the salons
Just
for
to hang out.
everything and has to share. So some folks might not
I
necessarily.
can start. Hello, everyone. ¿Cómo están?
Hi. I'm going to give folks also the rights to rename themselves, just because I want to know who you are. Like, some of you have names. Where is this? I don't want to turn the chat, but go on while I do that.
So I just want to say hello, everyone. My name is Jacqueline. Yo soy dominicana también. I was born and raised there. I came here when I was 12. That was 2003.
Nice.
I currently live in Connecticut, Danbury, Connecticut. My dream was always to be a writer and a storyteller. And I didn't realize my voice until this year, but throughout my whole life, I've always been writing. So I have a lot of like work. And when I found that you guys do this, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Dominican writers getting together. So I'm really excited to be here. My favorite ice cream is cookies and cream.
What?
Cookies and cream.
But you said was in past tense. Ya no.
I don't know. I mean, now I like, do you know Cold Stone in New York?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, you can make like your own like style of ice cream. So it's a bunch of mixes.
Get it. Andres, you also have some people introducing themselves in the chat, okay?
Yeah, no, I noticed that. That's lovely. Thank you guys for doing that. If you would, amuse me and actually vocalize where you're from, or if you don't feel comfortable turning on the camera, I would still love to hear your voice at some point. But yeah, I see that they are writing it here on the chat. And your name is, and that was Jacqueline, right?
Sí, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, thank you so much for that. Glad to be in the space with you.
I'll go
Okay.
next if you
Who's
like.
next? Okay.
I'll go next. I'm Gloria, and I feel like I am the only Chicana up here in Inwood, Northern Manhattan, which is cool. I've been here 25 years from California. I grew up in California, the Bay Area, so I guess I'm a hardcore Chicana. I'm an OG Chicana, and I write memoir and poetry, and I did an essay last year with Charlie Vasquez, and a friend of mine said it would make a good one-woman play. So you never know. I'd like to do that. And my favorite ice cream, and I go hard for this, anything that has caramel in it.
Ah,
If it has caramel, that is mine. I would devour it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that. And that's Gloria, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'm happy to be in space with you. Okay, who's next?
I'll go. So Julie Peralta. I am Dominican, born in Jersey, and I grew up in Dominican Republic. So it was like the complete opposite for me. Thank you, Jesus. What else? I'm an actress, and also I've been writing, so I want to consider myself a writer as well. And I am currently located in New Jersey.
Julie, are you in Invade?
I was in Invade, yeah.
You was, or you are in the movie?
Sí, I am in the movie.
You are, okay. Because
Un
I'm gonna go
pedacito.
next weekend, so I just
Oh,
wanted to
nice.
make sure you're gonna be in it.
Yeah, I was in it. It was nice working with them for sure.
Okay.
¿No te acuerdas que yo te
Yes, yes. I
ajá.
just wanted to make sure that you actually did have a character. For those who don't know, Julie is part of a Dominican film that is premiering in the Dominican Film Festival next Saturday. So we have a lot of folks to be celebrating and supporting next week, well, within the next month. So I'll try to make it out to as many as possible, but I wanted to specifically make a point of making it out to yours. And because
Felicidades,
I
Julie.
also
Felicidades.
Congrats. I love it. I
want to
love
meet
to
the
hear it.
director as well. So the platform has been supporting her work very much. So
Yeah, it was fun.
yay.
Yay, let me know
That's
how you like it.
beautiful. Congrats, Julie. I don't think I caught, what was your favorite ice cream?
Oh, so like I'm not big with sweets, but if I were to like buy ice cream, I go for passion fruit or coconut.
O sea, lo frío frío. That's her ice.
Sí, exacto. Chinola o coco, cualquier cosa de esa.
I love it. Thank you,
Dominican
Julie.
ice.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Julie. Happy to be in space with you. Okay, who's next? Where are you from? Where you live now, and what's your favorite ice cream? Go.
Julie, congrats, by the way, that's huge. I am from Harlem. My name is Ardennis. I'm still in Harlem. And my favorite ice cream is pistachio.
Good morning, Arlene.
Good morning.
Thank you, Arlene. It's just good to see you again. That's awesome. I love pistachio too. Happy to be in space with you. Okay, who's next?
Threw it in the chat, but I could vocalize it as you wished. Kilson here, born and raised in Queens. Parents are from Mocha. And if I had to go ice cream, black cherry all the way.
Black cherry. Yeah, I'm loving these choices. Okay, pleasure to be in space with you, Kilson. Thank you for that. Okay, who's next?
I can go. I'm Lisbeth. I am Boricua, straight out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I now reside in Hartford. My favorite ice cream is anything chocolate. My favorite sweet is anything chocolate. And that's me.
Thank you for that, Liz. I appreciate that. Happy to be in space with you. Okay, who's next?
I'll be
Okay.
next. Hi, I'm Rosita, Libre de Marulanda. I was raised in Barranquilla, Colombia until the age of 13. I didn't come here. My parents brought me here. It's a big difference. People say, oh, I came when I was 2 years old. No, you didn't come when you were 3.
You were kidnapped like me.
Brought back. You were
We had no
brought
say.
by your parents, right. They didn't ask you. They just made a decision and brought you. Most times. Okay, so from Barranquilla, Colombia, I lodged with siblings that I already had here for 5 years while I finished high school. And then I got married, went to live in Brooklyn for 2 years. That didn't work out too well. I came back to Manhattan for 2 years. And then after that, the remaining 56 years I've been in Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. My favorite, I love Manhattan too, but I love Manhattan to go and do things and then leave it behind and
All right, Rosita.
yeah.
We're not judging you.
In Brooklyn, there are trees and children and dogs, and it's just more natural space. So the streets are wider and not as much traffic. So 56 years plus 2 + 2 is a long time. My favorite ice cream is the one I can make, the one I can eat. So I make it. I make sherbet and I make other things with like, things I stir up in my in my mixer, fruit and soy milk, and no other sugars. So that's my best ice cream.
Wow, that's wonderful to see that. And I'm looking at your kitchen and it looks amazing from here. I'm like, yeah, I want to go to your kitchen right now.
You're invited. I have to add that I'm 77 years old and I really like what I eat. So I used to eat ice cream a lot. I used to eat those 4x4s, Ben and Baskin and Robbins, like 4 scoops with 4 different syrups. Oh my gosh, that is my favorite.
I love it. I love it. I mean, so much like power to you for making your own ice cream. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's really easy.
You could do a solo show about making your own ice cream. I'll come and watch you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I'm so happy to be in space with you, Rosita. Okay, who's next?
Julissa introduced herself in the chat. She can't speak right now.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. All good. Thank you, Julissa. Okay, but we got a couple of people here still.
Linda, Jasmine, Marcia. Come on, Marcia. Crystal. Let us see your face, Marcia. Hola.
Hola.
Bienvenida.
Good morning, everybody. Mi nombre es Marcia Almeida, soy de la República Dominicana. No me gusta el helado, pero ayer probé una marca que se llama Frutero y tenían uno de guayaba que estaba muy bueno, pero eso fue nada más probarlo porque el helado no me gusta. Lo siento, Andrés.
No lo siento, está bien. I hear you. It's tough, but you're excommunicated.
Okay. Because of my age, I guess. Vivo en Montclair, New Jersey. Y no soy escritora, sino soñadora.
If you're just tuning in, welcome to
Marcia has what is it, a Dominican group that she's created?
All the Latinos of Montclair.
Latinos in Montclair. So she's organizing in Montclair because she wants all the Latinos there to, unite, do some creative stuff, some community work. And that's where, that's what she's been doing recently.
Yes, and I want to showcase Dominican writers.
That's beautiful.
There you go. Whoever's willing to travel to Montclair, which is pretty far. Pero
it's not far. It's only, we're 40 miles east of New York City.
2 hours.
No.
Casi.
No,
it took me 2 hours to get to Montclair this past summer.
Oh, yes. I remember you were here. Yeah, no, it doesn't take that long. Normally it's half an hour. It depends on the rush hour.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay. You can make it.
We'll see. We'll see what we do over there. Who's next?
Thank you, Marcia, for that. I'm really happy to be sharing the space.
Yeah, and today is Marcia's first day in the salon. She had not been able to make it before, right, Marcia?
I know. I've been. Oh no, I was there. I've been there like 3 times. This is my third time.
3 times. Okay.
Third
so
time.
She tries to make it whenever she can.
Yeah.
Really
Today
happy
she was
that you're here.
excited. She said, I could finally make it.
Amazing. No, really happy. Thank you for coming, Marcia. Okay. I think we got like 2 people.
Crystal,
Dondi Dancy.
Dondi just joined us.
Just so you know, we're just because you weren't here earlier, we're saying where we're from, where we're at, and what's our favorite ice cream.
Where I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Where
Okay.
I'm at is Northern California in the
Wow.
Silicon Valley. And I think my favorite ice cream, okay, favorite store-bought would be something like butter pecan or like Chunky Monkey. But if my mom were alive and she made it, it would be vanilla, hands down.
Nice. Welcome, Dondi.
That's beautiful.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Thank you, Dondi. I'm so happy that you're here. Happy to be sharing space with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I think that's probably, if I missed someone, I think I
Did
did.
Inda introduce herself? Inda Lauren?
No, I don't think I've heard from Inda yet. Ooh.
And Crystal Kavita?
Yes, right now.
I can go. I'm Crystal. I am originally from Trinidad, but currently based in what is colonially known as Scarborough, Ontario. So across the border in Canada.
Oh, wow.
And my favorite ice cream is anything with as much chocolate in it as possible. As far as interest in solo work, that is something that I am very new to exploring. I have mostly written essays until now, but theater creation feels like a way to call out all the bigotry that I faced as a social worker, call it art, and then nobody can sue me. So here we are.
That's smart. Diana, you want to introduce yourself? How about Inda Lauren? I don't think we've heard from you. And Yasmin, did Yasmin introduce herself? Okay, guys, if you're not comfortable, you could also do it in the chat. Okay,
Yeah,
Yasmin.
I think Jasmine she put it on the chat. Okay.
And
Inda, we're just joining. Yeah, no
introduce
pressure.
you also.
You know, it's all good. We're here.
Inda is from the Midwest.
I'm gonna read India's chat message. She's from the South, Midwest, favorite ice cream, double chocolate gelato. I love it. I love it. I'm not mad at that. So thank you. And I'm really excited and happy to be in space with all of you. Thank you, Angie, thank you for everything you do, girl. Just you take all the applause. You know, I love you, even though you drive me crazy sometimes. But I love you. I want to really hear from you guys because we're gonna get into it. We're not really gonna talk a lot. We're gonna get to work. But before we even get to work, I want to get in a sense of what is solo work for you? Because everybody has a different idea or concept or definition of it. And I'm really interested to know what's your relationship to it. I heard some people talk about it, or what do you think solo work is? If and anybody, don't be precious, speak, don't even have to raise your hand, whatever.
Nobody knows. Nobody has an idea.
I feel like for me, solo work would be like a monologue, maybe like just you, yourself, your thoughts. I don't know if that also applies to like the writing process of it. Is the development of whatever it is that you're working on, which is hard as well.
That's the understanding I have of it too, where it's
Right.
like the creation of a story that you're writing, you're telling. It doesn't have to be one voice. It could be many voices, but through the solo artist. Like it's one person telling the story. Her, or their story or a story through their voice, through their, just their perspective, their lens. And that's what I have.
Okay, that's, yeah. You were saying something, Rosita?
It was so cute. There was a flash on the screen of a young girl in bathing suit, I think, or something, or overalls. So cute.
Oh.
Anyway, so I'll do it. My solo writing times are all the time. I write best when there's nobody else around. In terms of the topic, I write political essays, so I have to do that by myself. I do use Google a lot for spelling, for meaning, sometimes to find the authors that I may be citing, and so on and so forth. What was I going to say? Oh, also I'm writing my memoirs. So all that is by myself, todita sola.
Okay, thank you for that, Rosita. Gloria, yeah.
I never thought about writing a one-woman play. And again, going back to the essay I started, which is memoir, I didn't realize it could be made into a play until a friend who does screenwriting said, Gloria, you could do this. So I'm showing up to figure out how it's done. Short answer.
Yeah. Thank you, Gloria. Anybody else? If you didn't get the question the first time, what's your idea of solo work? What do you think it is? There's no right answer. I want to get 2 or 3 more before we get into it.
Julissa shared in the chat.
That's right. Oh, okay, Julissa, it's like the character speaking, reflecting with an audience so that they're comfortable with like intimate spaces so they can be their true authentic self. Yeah, okay. That's great too. There's no right or wrong here. I just want to know what you guys are feeling or what you guys think solo work is. Marcia, you're going to say something? I see that you want to say something.
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay, cool. Anybody else? What is solo work? What do you think it is? Or an example of something you saw that's like, oh yeah, that's a solo show.
The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde.
Thank you.
And I wrote my own solo show, so I know.
I know you did. Anybody else?
I think oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. For me, I feel like solo work is a lot of poetry and kind of spoken word, and just being able to really focus on your innermost, kind of without the noise of the outside. Like in that moment, your feelings are most important. So that's why I enjoy it.
Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's great. I mean, all of you guys are right. There is not a one-woman show like a play or a performative art piece. Yeah, Jasmine, that's right too. So there isn't one specific answer to that. You guys are all right. A solo show can take many forms. You could be in an audience talking about your trauma that happened to you when you were 15. You could be a comedian like John Leguizamo and create an autobiography of his family and play 5 or 6 different characters. It could be you doing stand-up comedy. And it's important that we say that at the beginning, because many times when people are writing solo work, they feel like it has to be a very specific thing. It does not. A solo show is just you on stage. That's the only principle. And you can do and say whatever you want within reason, obviously. So that's what a solo show is. And so we're gonna start with a little prompt exercise, because I think it's always better to do than to talk. And I want to give you guys just 3 minutes for this first prompt. And what I want you to do is to write, well, I'll give you 5 minutes actually, to write a small letter to someone that you've had a conflict with. It could be a friend, it could be a lover, it could be a family member. And you feel like that in that conflict, there was no closure. So in this 5 minutes, you're going to take the opportunity to write what you want to tell that person. Again, it could be a friend, it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be a neighbor, it could be the government. There's no right or wrong here. I just want you to, the only thing is that you have to tell that person how they did you wrong, and you got to express your feelings in this letter. And so you have 5 minutes to do that. Please write in the chat room. Okay. First prompt. Like we're starting spicy, okay. Okay, so your 5 minutes starts right now. Okay, so you guys got maybe about a minute and a half. Okay, guys, let's finish up. You guys are doing great. I'll give you guys maybe 15 seconds. Okay. Yep, we're back. We're backity back. They're like, no, we're not back. I'm still writing. I gotta get this down. It was fun for me, just like the anticipation of like you guys doing that exercise. And we're not gonna touch it right away, but because we're gonna do something right after. And then we're gonna come back to this. Are we back, guys? Joselita, Jacqueline.
There, I unmuted. Oh, you want
Okay,
me to go
good.
first?
Yeah. No, I just want to know that the people are back.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So the second part of this exercise, it's going to be that I want you to like whoever you wrote to, whether it was a parent, again, a government, a neighbor, an ex-lover, whoever it was, I want you to write a letter from their point of view, responding to what you just wrote. Let me know if that's clear. I'll put it on the chat, of course, but again, I'm going to repeat it one more time just because from where I am, the sound is a little bit funky. But again, I would like you to write a response from their point of view to what you just wrote. So that means that you're going to have to be in the shoes of that other person. Or if it's the government, you're going to have to be in the shoes of that government. If it's a political party that you wrote to, you're going to have to be in the shoes of that political party. The goal, it's to really try to be objective to that point of view. So I'm going to put it on the chat. I'm going to put it on the chat, but that's the problem. And it's not going to start yet. Just before you start, let me put it on the chat first. This perspective is going to be uncomfortable. Yeah, well, you know, that's the point. I love that you said that. Okay. Okay, so it's 11:41. You have 5 minutes for this one, and then we'll discuss afterwards. Have a good time.
Eight 813 or WQXR.org for music, comfort, and you'll find orchestral works, choruses, piano, wide range of styles, capturing emotions that may be hard to put into words. Here is a single cello that says so much. Generations of New Yorkers have grown up with WQXR, and for many, this is the only station they really listen to. Kate lives in Asheville, North Carolina, but she says, when I was little, I thought all radios played at home. I went to a friend's house and was amazed to hear other sounds coming out of a radio. I didn't think it was possible. If your radio seems to play only WQXR, then we're asking you to join us as a member. Same is true if you're listening on your phone, smart speaker. If you listen all the time, the station is an important part of how you make it through each day of who you are. Please make a donation. 888-813-1059 or WQXR.org. Give $10 a month to support everything that WQXR offers you and everyone in our community. We'll send you music, comfort, and hope. CDs, 50 tracks in all, an exclusive offer for WQXR members. 888-813-1059 or WQXR.org. 1 year into the pandemic, when we asked our listeners about the music that mattered most, so many people wrote in about Carl Jenkins. Jenkins is a modern Welsh composer, so this isn't music that's been around for centuries. Judging from the way it sounds and the reactions from so many of you, I think there's a good chance it will be. 888-813-1059 or WQXR.org.
You guys have about maybe a minute left. Oh, Rosalita's done. Okay, I see you, girl.
No, I'm not done.
Oh, okay. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Abby, you checked out for a bit. Do you have the second prompt? Andres, maybe you want to put it in the chat again?
No, I have it. Sorry, I accidentally, accidentally closed the Zoom, but I have it.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
no worries. We want to make sure you have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie, for that. Okay, we got about maybe 30 seconds left for the second prompt, and then we'll just talk a little bit about it. And yeah. Okay, guys, come back, please. How was that? No, Gloria's like, I didn't like that.
It was interesting. I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. It was challenging.
Okay, talk to me.
It was I loved it because there was no space, there was no time to hold on to like that, the emotion from the first prompt, and it's like as human, yeah. So it's like as the human nature is like, wait, I still have more to say, but it's like it was like the switch into going back into like, oh wait, but you know, like now we're gonna go on to this, and it's like the way my heart had to open for this piece to come through. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I kind of want to like, you got me.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's stay with that feeling. Stay with that feeling though. Gloria, yeah, please talk. It's all good.
Okay, I'm going to say that I really didn't like this.
Okay.
But when I was writing from the perspective of the person, I actually saw her body language and how she moved and the way she said things, and and her stances. So
yeah. No, that's a beautiful that's beautiful that you were able to give yourself that feedback as you were writing it. That's great, Gloria. Anybody else? I just want to hear little comments, what they thought about it, what they felt. This isn't good or wrong or right. Just way people are writing stuff. Okay. It was freeing. Julissa says it was freeing. The issue is still there, but it's clearly defined with both sides having their say. I liked it. Okay. Crystal says, writing to a time prompt can be challenging, but hopefully it germinates some seeds for future writing. I wrote both in time that you gave, and Jasmine says I wrote both in the time that you gave, but I was busy for the first prompt, so I had to be quick with both, which was the challenge, so I couldn't say too much on my side. Anybody else? Hilson, Elizabeth, Marcia, talk to me.
So for me, it was acknowledging, my first letter was to my sister, and there's an angry tone to it. I have thought about her side many times before, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so sensitive to the situation. But to actually put it into words, I immediately started crying. I'm a crybaby, just naturally, but I immediately started crying because it humanizes the situation a little bit more. And I feel like I need to stay in that space when I think about her, but it's so hard just because we're human. And
Yeah.
I realized by career, I'm this sensitive, open, emotionally available person to people. And
Mhm.
I'm not to, the person I share my parents with. And that's really hard for me to face sometimes. So I had to face it today.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for being so honest and open. Oh my God, I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Julie, you were gonna say something?
That's interesting, Lisbeth, because I started writing also from like sister. Like, I don't know why the letter was like my sister. But I also, it's interesting because this is the second time around also, Andres, that I've been like working. I did like a writing workshop not too long ago. We just finished this week. And we did a lot of these exercises, like prompt, like letters, like writing letters. And I was like, that's crazy. Like I want to be able to write. I want to be able to tell stories. And I don't know why these little questions, just very simple, just get me like triggered, like, yeah, yes, there's so much to say. Right. And then another thing that I caught myself in now specifically, I caught myself adding magic to it, like como realismo mágico. And how, where, no sé. But these, like anytime, like this is my second time, I'm adding things that are like fiction to it. Besides it being obviously inspired from like like something that I probably experienced or I know of.
Sure.
I caught myself doing that as well, which is interesting. I like it.
That's amazing. I love that. I love magical realism. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And it's just a question I have.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to answer that at some other point or someone would share. But how do you go from like let's say like if you're writing and you're not part of like this collective work, which is amazing. Like, how do you go from like, okay, you know what, I want to write, but how do I go from like choosing those like questions or like that little box, that little tools box where I can be like, oh, esto me va a motivar, yo poder, go from one to another.
I have an answer for that, and I'm gonna answer that. I promise. I promise. But I wanna just also before I answer that, Julie, I'm not gonna forget. I promise. I want to hear back from other people. Marcia, Gilson. Let me know what you guys. Rosita. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Okay.
Well, I already had an answer even before you suggested it. I am glad that you suggested it, because then I was able to write it instead of keeping it in my head. I wrote it. I may not be happy with the outcome. That still is in suspension because it has not been settled. I did write to them stating my grievance, and I have not heard a response yet. But I know some of the possibilities of how they will respond, and one of them is that they might remove me from the group forever, and I'm not happy about that. So I'm trying to explain it in like real situations why my behavior is not just mine. It's like everybody's. It entailed that I was puttering around while in a Zoom meeting in discussions. And the reason for that is because these meetings are so lovely. They stay on till like wee hours in the morning sometimes. And that cuts into my, chore time. And I only have Saturday and Sunday. So that's a real conflict. And I know it's not just mine. And so we need to have a discussion, don't just cut me off. Let's have a discussion. So that's my take.
Yeah, thank you, Rosita, for sharing that. Yeah. I'm gonna come back to something that just happened right now, because you just said something that made me laugh, but you're talking about something really serious. So I will talk about that in a minute when I come back.
Yeah, being cut off from my community is real serious. That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Anybody else? Marcia, Hilson?
Yeah. Okay, Marcia will go. When you said that, I had no idea what I was going to write or who I was going to write to. So I wrote a letter to us in the universe.
Okay, I love it. Beautiful.
Because, I was asking forgiveness for the way that we are treating the universe and each other.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful.
We're not being respectful. We're not being lovely. We don't take care of the ambience. There's a lot of environmental issues that we do not take care of that we can. So that was my letter. And I have my own reply that the war is not as bad as we think it is. What I think it is social media make it worse than it is when you listen to every day in the news about somebody stabbing somebody else or killing, or the behavior of some politicians and things like that. You just think that this is the aim, but it isn't, because there are a greater number of people that are good. That was.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, you wrote a letter to the universe.
To us in the universe. It's to us in the universe.
To us in the universe. Yeah, that's beautiful, Marcia. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Kilson, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, contrary to everybody, I'm sorry, mine was a little bit fun and humorous because mine had to do with an issue I had with like a teacher back in middle school who had beef with my brother, and then he took that shit out on me when I became a student of his, and a bunch of petty shit happened with him trying to kick me out of school because it started with like literally day one of school. He was like, wait, I know that last name. You wouldn't happen to know Marlon. Like, yeah, that's my brother. He was like, oh, so you're going to be a little shit like him? That's day one. So I'm like, of course I'm going to fight back. So in that response, the writing from his perspective made me laugh because even though it's writing back because of how he acted and everything, it was like arrested in like his pettiness of back then. So it was just humorous to see how like a grown-ass man back then, and even an older man now, will still be that petty towards someone like that he's a senior to, and still reacting like as if he's the one that was done wrong to.
Yeah, it's wow. Thank you for sharing that, Kilson. That sounds like you have so much richness. Like all of you have so much like juice, so much content, so much context. You have so much to create with. Like even when I'm hearing Rosita and I'm hearing her passion and her feelings about what she's expressing, or I'm hearing Gloria say she's uncomfortable, or I'm hearing what Marcia saying, or Kilson, you're talking about a teacher, that takes me back. And I'm looking at you and I'm thinking in my head about how you were a little kid. All of these things that you guys have shared has been really wonderful. And the material, and this is why I love solo shows. So going back, Julie, to your question, where do we get the thing that sparks this? Where do we find the engine? How do we create solo pieces? Was that where your question was geared towards?
Yeah, I feel like these prompts are so helpful, and I didn't know about this until like I had started obviously being more in circles with writing workshops. And I find them so helpful because it really gets me started, at least for me. Like for me, it's different. Like it could be like, it's not only like an emotion, but also like music does that for me. So I feel like these just little simple prompts are very helpful, but it's good to kind of have like a list of them where it's like, yes, this could be writing a letter to someone that did you wrong, could be like something that could start from like huge, but it could also be like one that I tried last month. I'm just going to mention it now. Like, what if death were to knock on your door and be like, all right, pack up, we out. Like, how would you convince death not to take you? And I was like, oh, soy manipuladora, and I didn't even know this. I'm like, I am so good at that. And I'm like, I don't know. But it really started something, and then like writing the letter back and then going from there. But still, even in the journey of this, like, even if it's not answering specific the question, but something that's said in the process of it that you're like, oh, wow, this really like,
Yeah, I thank you for sharing that, because that's a really interesting, and I love that you say soy manipuladora and that you could have probably come to that awareness by yourself. I will say that everybody, all of us, we all have something that keeps us up at night, whether it's what you just shared or something even more private and more personal that you haven't shared, we all have something that keeps us up at night. It bothers our sleep. It keeps us from having a peaceful sleep at times, right? Whether it's like rent or kids or girlfriend or boyfriend or non-gender person, whatever. We all have something that keeps us from sleeping, from getting a good night's sleep. That's where I start my work from, always, because it has to be personal for me, and it has to matter. And if it's not personal for me, then I'm not going to care. I don't know if that's something that might be of use for you, but
Yeah.
I would always, I had took a class with Stephen Ali Gerges, who's a playwright, Pulitzer Prize winning playwright, actor. And one of the things he shared with me was focusing on the things that keep you from sleeping.
That keep you what?
That keeps you from sleeping.
Oh, okay.
Powerful.
And writing those things down before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. The reason why I like this exercise that I was asking you guys to do, thank you guys for entertaining and for doing it. It's because it creates content for you to think about stuff, but it also forces you to be in the position of the other person. And so then you have to be neutral in how you create those arguments. And as a solo show artist, that's the basic tool that you're going to have to use when you're creating your work. You're going to have to get into spaces of different voices, of different people. And you must, this is a must. You must be able to be objective from the point of view of everybody that you're giving a voice to. And even if you're doing a solo show where you're just talking about yourself, when you're talking about other people as yourself, you must be honest to that person's point of view. Because then if we're gonna go and see you perform and you're just talking about yourself and you're just doing your point of view, then we're not seeing a character struggling or fighting for conflict. And that's exciting. That's why we go to the theater, because we want to see you in conflict. We want to see you having a hard time. We want to see Kilson having a hard time with that teacher who treated him in high school, in elementary school or high school. We want to see Gloria having a hard time with whatever she was sharing. We want to see Rosita having a hard time with that story, or we want to see Marcia having a hard time struggling with the universe and the people that are damaging the ozone layer and making the Hudson River toxic. That's exciting. That's why we go to the theater. That's why these solo shows happen. These solo shows, the difference between a play where we have more than one person, 3 or 5 or 6 or 10 people, and a solo show, the reason why a solo show exists is because only one person can tell that story. And so, yeah, so that's why I wanted you guys to do that exercise, because it helps you to get in the shoes of somebody else. And we're gonna jump right away to another exercise right here. So this is a 3-part exercise. The first part is, what do you want to do? Or no, let me not phrase it like that.
Give $10 a month as a sustaining member, or $120.
Something that you want before the end of today, before you go to sleep. And what is the obstacle that can be in the way of you getting what you want? So I'm going to repeat that again. What do you want before the end of today? And what's an obstacle that can prevent you from getting that thing? And then part B to that is, what do you want that is coming next month or in 2 months? And what's an obstacle that can prevent you from getting that thing? So I want something for like the end of the day today, something for 2 months from now. So we're talking about the end of the day today. 2 months from now, it's what? January, right? So what do you want before the end of the year? What do you want before the end of the year? And what's an obstacle? And what do you want for 6 months from now? So we got the end of the day today, by the New Year's, and in 6 months, what are things that you want? And what are those obstacles that you think will get in the way of the things you want for tonight, for January, and for the end of the year? And it's 12:06, so I'm gonna give you 8 minutes for that one. So I will check back in.
Clarification, is this related to the first 2 exercises?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then again, everything is related.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You're on my thinking cap.
So it's 12:07. I'll give you 8 minutes. I'll come back at 12:15. Okay. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments? We good? Okay, we're good.
Music from the Brandenburg Concerto No. 3 by Johann Sebastian Bach. WQXR.org or 888-8131. That's how to reach us for their sustaining gift of $10 a month right now. Support WQXR at that level and send you the Bach we just heard and 49 other pieces It's easy to hear why. Catchy tunes, great rhythms. It's the hot jazz of the 18th century, with only a handful of musicians needed to create such a rich sound. And it's on classical spark.
You guys are doing great. Can't wait. I think I even went beyond the cutoff time period. So we got like 10 seconds. Marcia, you ready? You finished. You have your I'm ready face. This has been really fun sharing this space, and I'm excited to hear about this exercise. Are we there? Are we done? Just thumbs up if you are. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Beautiful, beautiful. Rosita, do you need more time? I can't hear you.
Yes, I could use a couple more minutes.
A couple more minutes. Okay. You know what? I'll give you 40 seconds. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Great. And you can, Rosita, you can catch up with us whenever you're ready. So how was that for people? How did you feel about it? You could tell me I didn't like it. I didn't feel anything. It's all good. I want to hear things. Yeah.
It was funny because every obstacle was me.
Ooh, that's real.
Like when I went to go think, all right, so what do I want for today? Was the obstacle me? So do you want us to share?
Yeah, I do actually.
All right. So what I want for today is to submit to the Dominican Writers call for submission, right?
Okay.
My obstacle would be me not choosing one essay and allowing myself to press submit. What I want for January is I want to start monetizing off of my creative work. Obstacle is me allowing myself to understand that this is my job. This has nothing to do with anything else but it being my job. And what do I want for the end of the year is I want to have performed my first solo show. And then the obstacle would be I have unfinished work and I have to finish it.
Sure. Thank you for being so honest. Thank you for being so truthful. That's real. And I am the king of sabotage, so don't even worry about it. I feel you. I am sending you a lot of love and grace, and you're gonna do your solo show. That's gonna happen. Okay, who's next?
I was gonna say, I want to echo what Arlenis is saying. It was a lot of self-reflection, realizing that the obstacle tends to be the self. Because I wrote the same thing. I wrote, like, by the end of the day, I want to finish writing a chapter for my novel. My main obstacle is myself. Procrastination is a bitch. So I put a lot more work into finding new ways to procrastinate than I actually do into doing the work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I could try to accomplish this by instead of giving myself like an overhaul of a task, like all of this needs to be done, like try to break it down into components and then take it by like with the little wins rather than one big win. And for the other 6 months, I hope to be finished with the book and start querying. And the main hurdle with that is bigger than procrastination, I think, is fear. Fear of finishing, like, even though I just don't like seeing things end, and if it's like a good thing, I'm just not about that. There's also like fear of how it's going to be received, fear of rejection, which I know are all common things and understood fears, but it is a fear nonetheless. And I guess the best way to combat that would be to just keep going at it until like the fear stops being a shout and instead is a whisper.
I love that. I love all of that. Thank you, Gilson. And I'm sending you a lot of grace and love and kindness to self. And yeah, Gloria, go ahead.
I agree that everything, for instance, today, from when I operate from my apartment, I like it clean and I'm a master mistress of making it messy when I'm working. So that's my goal for today, do some cleaning. And for me, it's like I'm trying to do too many things at one time. So I do a little of this, little of that, little of this, and hopefully finish one thing. Part of me is just I'm 5 months recovering from back surgery. So I get tired easy and I find that I could finish something, but then I have to lay down and rest. And as for the writing and publishing, that's on my list for 2 or 3 months, 6 months out. And it's that self-sabotaging, that feeling that I'm not good enough, or maybe, you know, this or that holds me back. So it comes back to me too.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Gloria. Thank you. Marcia, Rosita, Elizabeth, Julie,
I'll
Abby,
I'll take.
anybody? Yeah. Okay.
So what do I want by the end of tonight?
Mhm.
I want to do like 50 things.
Yeah.
My obstacle is not having enough time.
Yeah.
What do I want? And by the way, I also can relate to the procrastination thing. There is a plate that I found in one of the places where I go. It says, stop stopping yourself. That is like
Yeah.
so to the point. But because I'm back to work, I find that I have more time now because I am disciplined. I got to get up a certain time. I gotta. I'm on the roll. So right now it's time. It's not procrastination. It's time. So what are we? Okay, so I want to do things right. Okay, by the end of the month, I want to declutter a lot of decluttering so I can have people over the day after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I probably go to somebody's house, but then I want people over here the day after. And what do I want before the end of the year? I want to implement Rosita's Kitchen by the end of the year so I can get rushing during the spring of 2022. Rosita's Kitchen is going to be my business, which I want to go into after I retire in June. I got it really, calendar all set up. And Rosita's Kitchen is going to create conversations around healthy eating and especially the transition between eating junk and eating healthy. So it's
Wow.
Yeah. And I will be doing workshops like how to keep your tongue clean with a white plaque on it for health reasons, because that plaque prevents the nutrients from being absorbed, and it's systemic from tongue to colon. And how to build the barbecue in your barbecue pit without using the liquid, the gas liquid. So so hopefully I'll begin in the spring, but by the end of December, I want to have like all my email things set up and how I already have a website, but how is the website going to play out with my email and that sort of thing, and my Facebook page, which I already set up. But again, I have to put them together by the end of the year. Again, time.
Time.
Not enough of it.
Yeah. That's I just want to say something about what you said, Rosita, at time.
Okay.
Every character in a play, in a solo show, even a person singing a song, they're all struggling with time. How much time? How much time do I have to do the thing, to get it done? I need to go to the store. I don't have that much time because I have to do something and I need to get back to take a shower, to brush my teeth, because then I have whatever. And so, especially in a solo show, whether you're doing magical realism, whether you're referring to the past or talking about the present, everything that you have to say that comes from you, that's personal, that you need to get out, time is always a factor because we only have so much time. And that's part of why I wanted to do this exercise with you guys, is because in looking at today, and looking at tomorrow, and in looking at 6 months from now, the thing that ties those three things is time. All of these characters are struggling with not just what to say and how to say it, but how much time they have to get it out. Sometimes you go and see a lot of these solo shows, and grace and compassion for everybody, because being on that stage is hard. But sometimes you see people just, you go to a play and you fall asleep because you see people not just talking, but there's no measurement of the need for this stuff to come out within a certain time period. And so when you're working on your writing, when you're figuring out your process for yourself, and there's not one process, there's a billion processes. So when you're figuring out that stuff for yourself, just remember that time is a factor in what you're trying to create, whether you're playing yourself, telling your story or whether you're playing a multitude of different characters. And each of those characters are working with a certain amount of time. Time is always a factor. So yeah. Does anybody want to go share what they've written? Or are we good for now? We want to move on to the next prompt. Lisbeth, do you want to share? Julie, how do you guys feel? You're good? So for the next prompt, in this one, I would love it if we all can share our writing for this one. I want you to start with, it's also a two-part exercise. The first one is, I remember. And then the second part to the prompt is, I notice. But I want you to start with, I remember. And if you can pick something from your childhood, even better. If you want to pick something from yesterday or 2 weeks ago, that's fine. But if you can pick something from your childhood and you add that element of memory, I would really appreciate that. Again, there's no right or wrong here. So the first part is, I remember. The second part is, I notice. So those are two different paragraphs. The first one, I remember. The second one, I notice. And I want all of us to share that work when you're done. So it's 12:27. I want to give you guys 7 minutes. You guys are amazing. I know, it's writing isn't easy, so I appreciate your time and commitment. So 12:28 now, I'll give you 7 minutes. We'll be back at 12:35. I remember and I notice. And we're going to share that one. Okay, thank you. Okay, we got about a minute left, everybody. You guys are doing great. Hey guys, so that's pretty much the time we have, and I'm really for this prompts, I mean, and I'm really excited to hear some of the work that you guys have been doing. Before we even do that, I wanted to share I wanted to show you guys two clips of two of the people that inspire me. I've had the pleasure actually of working with one of these people, and they're really generous and really great to be in the room with. But I think I have, yeah, Angie gave me the access to show you this video. So I want to show you these two videos because these two people have a different style. And they're both people that I love their work, and they've been mentors to me. Let's go back a little bit. This is, I mean, you guys know who he is.
Okay, I can't hear.
Who can't hear?
Rosita.
Rosita, you can't hear?
I can hear.
I can't
Oh.
hear it either.
You can't hear it?
No.
Really? That's weird. Not sure. Why? Okay.
And this is like maybe your computer connected to your headphones.
Is it connected yet? Should I disconnect it from my headphones? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I would.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that may help.
Let me go back a little bit.
No.
No.
You can't hear it?
No.
Really?
Now a little bit.
It's very faint.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
Turn on
my
the
bad.
volume.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. My bad. Let me see. Can you hear it now?
Yeah. Yeah, that's better.
Oh shit. John, somebody here to see you, man. Yeah, I think you better take this one. Uh-huh. All right. Okay, you'll shoot now. Yeah,
Can you guys hear it?
Very faint.
Oh no. That sucks. Wait, let me see what I can do about that.
I'm writing it down to watch it later.
Somebody set settings.
Andres, you could put the link in the chat so people could access it on their own as
Okay.
well.
Directly, okay.
I'll do that. That's John, and the other person is Dale. And they both have a different style and different way of working. So yeah, I really want you guys at your own time to look at it But let's get into these prompts real quick. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Everybody. Who said that? Okay, Julie, yeah, you go first.
Okay. I'm gonna try my best to like understand my handwriting. Okay. I remember all the fruits and veggies in my backyard house in Santiago. No una, pero can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm just saying, it hit me. Go ahead. Sorry.
So this is Spanglish, by the way. So I remember all the fruits and veggies in my backyard house in Santiago. No una, pero dos penca mata de aguacate. You know, out here at the Associate Supermarket, 3 blocks down my house, they got these raquítico ones for like $5.99. Fucking ladrones. Since when here in America eating organic is so expensive? You know the government wants to kill us. Porque ¿cuál es la mierda? Mangos que abundan, limones, una mata de plátano, and roots cultivated. Allá en casa de abuela, 3 matas de coco. ¿Tú sabes que en el barrio de abuela más fácil te mueres tú de un coco que te cae en la cabeza? I hate the fact that Papi died because of health. Man, health is pricey. But have you been sick? Un riñón tienes que dar en el hospital if you get sick. Illness will leave you homeless. My family has been here in USA for more than 4 decades. Casina, I'm the first generation to be born here. All they think about is money, los cuartos, la jipeta, la cadena de oro, y pudriéndose por dentro. Thank God I went to, what was that? Thank God I went that Saturday to see Papi at the hospital. I knew he really didn't have much time on this beautiful earth. Sorry, on this beautiful place called Earth. And then that's where I left off.
Wow, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Jesus, thank you. You're hitting me. It's Sunday. I wasn't ready.
I forgot, I noticed, but I guess.
No,
I love the contrast between, Santiago's backyard and the supermarket in New York City. No comparison.
That's right. What did anybody else notice about that?
I love the language. I love the use of language, the voice. I love that. What I appreciate the most from your voice, Julie, is that you're giving me, I feel like I was in la casa de mi abuela allá.
Yeah.
And like there was no polishing and you know what I don't know. It was beautiful. Girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that she wrote English, but then she wrote Spanish too, and made the connection about health and her father and how we buy things, but when it comes to our health, what's there?
It definitely did that for me too. And the things that I wrote down were Santiago. So Santiago, when you write about a place, when you're putting a place in your monologue, then it becomes real. Then you force the audience to imagine, even if they're not from Dominican Republic, they're like, where is Santiago? So that was something that, I grew up in a farm in DR. So when I'm hearing aguacate, I'm like, yo, I'm back there,
The setting became like a character itself.
Exactly. And I love that. And anytime that you put grandma in conversation, that's going to make you feel something, right? Because we've had grandmothers, we love our grandmothers. So hopefully, so yeah, that was very beautiful. And I loved everything about it. I love how you were getting into Mommy and Papi at the end. And I wanted to know more. I felt like that's a story that could just keep going. And yeah, that was really, thank you for sharing that, Julie. That was great.
Yeah, thank you so much for this for the space and everything. I'm literally like, I didn't even like, I love how I wasn't even planning this, and now I just want to continue also writing.
Yeah.
Like
you should.
this is already like so freaking personal. Like anytime we're any like health and like cultivate, like my family is also, they're all farmers. So I feel like yeah, I feel like and I get like even a little emotional thinking about it, because it's like,
good.
How simple is that? Like the fact that, like we all come from the land and we all like go back to it. So I love the fact that, I remember, and for me, it's like, oh, Julie, el campo, like cultivation, like just starting from that place of like, just like produce and food. And at least for like, I feel like Latinos, it's just like, whoa, it's just such a huge deal. So thank you so much. I love this.
No, thank you. That was perfect. That was beautiful. And yeah, that was great. Who wants to go next?
Say that I also like that it kind of gets you with the unexpected, like you kind of lure them in with a little bit of comedy, a little bit of like here versus there kind of a thing. And then like it hits hard with like right to the heart with like the seriousness and the impact of like something that starts off as just like a light tone thing. And then you realize like how much of a bigger arc it has on not just your life, but like everyone's life overall. Like that definitely, like it was a curveball that hit, like landed right in the glove.
And to add to what Kilson is saying, I also got a sense of your voice. Like, I don't know you. I don't think we've ever met. And I got a sense of a little bit of who you are, like your personality from this piece, which, you guys are all doing the things that are supposed to be in a solo show. Like, we want to discover who you are. That's why people love solo work, as opposed to like where you watch a play doing a character that somebody else wrote. We want to know who the person is. And in the thing that you shared, yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, you talked about your family and your dad and and health, and all of those things are personal to everybody here. But I got to know who you were a little bit from that. So, yeah, who wants to go next? Who wants to share? Thank you, Julie, for that. Who wants to go?
I can go next.
Okay, Cristal.
I remember the guilt that I felt for not spending more time with my grandfather in his final 24 hours. But I did not remotely anticipate that the end was near for him, as he was always the caregiver for my grandmother, whose abundant health concerns never failed to take precedence. I notice how I no longer feel shame for acting like a child when my cousin visited, and instead remember how Papi always saw the good in me, even when he ground his teeth in frustration over my antics. So I know he understands that despite mostly ignoring him on his final day, I could not have loved him more.
Wow. You just gonna do that to me and just leave me there like that. That's wow. Did Cristal, was there also, did you write the I noticed, or did you combine both of them too?
So I notice is where I reflect back on it now, like as an adult, because I've been thinking a lot about how, like, for years I held on to that because he died when I was 9.5. And recently I was having a discussion with someone about guilt and grief and all of that. And it was like this moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I used to feel this heaviness about how I hadn't spent more time with him near the end because I didn't know it was the end. And I don't feel that now because now I'm at a place where I've like understood, that was just a child being a child, basically.
Yeah, that was what was really exciting. Well, I'm not going to talk. What you guys picked up about that? What was it that you noticed, or what did you like about that? Or not that you liked, that's a corny word, but what popped out to you?
For me, I don't know, but the grinding of the teeth, or like for some reason that behavior in a way is always, for me, pops out when someone's able to put that in words. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I really enjoy, there was a documentary feel to it that was also like really personal. Like I saw this person processing what they were saying, and it felt personal, but there was also like a distance to it. And I really enjoyed it because when you were starting to talk about it, Cristal, I could start seeing the audience, and I could start seeing like how you're telling this story because you're at a point where you've already told us the whole story. Like for me, this was like almost close to the end of something you've experienced. And so it felt like you've taken us on a journey, and whatever that journey was, I feel like that was the end of it. And you're looking back now and you're sharing that with you in real time, with us in real time. Yeah, that really hit, man. That really hit.
Also, I just wanted to add, Cristal, your voice too, like como para narrar, it just sounds very like, I want to know what she's going to talk about. It's like you're opening a window to something that.
That's right.
I feel like you could, like you could definitely feel the catharsis with it. Like I know you said like this is after the fact that you've given yourself the time to heal, but it also feels like as we're listening to you say it, like it's a whole different thing to have experienced it, but then to also put it into words. It feels like you were going through like a whole new healing process while actually putting it down on paper or like on computer, like just putting it into word form. It just felt like you were healing or continuing to heal just by doing so.
If you feel that it has value to you,
Yeah, absolutely.
then my favorite is this. Please.
Anybody else? Anything
I
you
would like to
noticed?
share.
Yeah, Jasmine, go ahead, share.
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
everybody. Sorry, I'm not feeling completely well, so I don't want to be on camera, not looking my best, but I would love to share. So,
Yeah, please.
sure. So my name is Yasmin, and I'm gonna share both. So this is I remember. You were always fly. The way you put together an outfit, the way you walked proudly around the neighborhood, up the hill towards the concourse. I would watch you walk and notice, pay attention. This is what it means to dress. This is what being a teenager will look like. This is what I looked like. This is what I wanted to look like, to be big. Sometimes I would see you on the block, me heading to elementary school, you heading to who knows where, but a smile, a big white smile against dark skin. You looked like Jimmy Baldwin, and then you were gone. I think you complimented me on the hat my dad made me wear, a fedora. I'm not sure, but I remember your smile. You dressed like you wanted to. You dressed like who you were. And I thought, I can't wait to do the same. And this is the second one is I noticed that everyone looks alike. It's a TikTok thing. TikTok boom is what my aunt says when someone is about to explode. And you did. I was strolling along and I saw her and I was in shock because she was saying something that was true, but she had a filter on. Her eyes were always brown before, but now she dared us to say that they weren't always green or blue. I don't remember what she even was saying, but I was embarrassed for her. They got her. She got even a poet, even she could want to look like everyone else.
Yeah, I love that. Jasmine, right?
Yasmin.
Yasmin. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love the imagery. I could see the person that you're talking to, or that I could see you walking down the street and somebody watching you and you watching them. There were moments where the characters that you were talking about, I wanted them to say something. So here's an opportunity that all of you guys have. Julie had it, Crystal had it. You guys all have it in so far in what you've shared. When you're talking about another character and you said the fedora bit, do you remember that part, the fedora?
Yes.
So can you repeat that line for me one more time?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you complimented me on the hat my dad made me wear, a fedora.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
No, that was great. So I want to know, how would he compliment you or she compliment you? Like, what was the compliment Did he go, oh, wow, you looking good with that fedora on? Like, you know, like, then I'm interested in the voice of that person. Then you're making like, then you're giving us like, and not just a space and a time, where you're giving us a world of how these other characters are interacting with you. Don't be afraid of giving these people voices. Cristal, when you're referring about your dad, or Julie, when you're talking about mommy and papi, like, or your grandmother, like, make these people who are in your lives, give them little things to say to you. Like, how would your dad say hi to you? When you're talking about, Cristal, about the physicality of your father, if you felt comfortable, if you wanted to take this piece and continue to work on it, one of the things that I would encourage is to try to, if you feel comfortable, try to remember how your dad, or the physicality of your dad, and putting that in your body so that you can channel that. There's a lot of artists who work that way, and you'd be surprised with the amount of content and writing that will come from that. But Yasmin, I love this piece. I think you have, yeah, it hit like, it felt like a rap song in the way that you deliver it, because it was so, you punched certain words, and there were times where I didn't know if I was listening to a solo piece that you wrote, or if I was listening to a rap song that you had written. And I think a part of that is your voice and just the way that you deliver words. So yeah, I want to encourage you, just like I want to encourage everybody else, to keep working on that. Really enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Like, I've been trying to write about that young man for, like, he's been on my mind actually yesterday, you know, because he really didn't speak to me because I was like a little kid, so he wasn't going to. It's part of my cough. But I've been thinking about him because he really stood out, and so thank you for the opportunity to be able to write about him, you know. And you're so right about using voice. That's very, very true. I've had the opportunity to write and be a part of a production, like, it was 9 years ago, called Sidewalk Sisters, in which we all like told different stories and stuff. So I was able to like kind of write a personal story and combine it with other women's stories. So I so agree with you about voice and stuff. For him, I just was like, I know that in real life, he never really said anything because I was like a little kid. It would have been a little awkward for him to strike up a conversation with me. But I do agree with you, and it makes me think like what he could have said, or, you know, other ways I could play around with that. Maybe the visuals of like what he looked like and how that was such a contrast to every other guy in the neighborhood. You know, as a child, you know, like in retrospect, I can look on it now, and that's what I was trying to hit with James Baldwin, that he was gay. You know, so he really was being who he was in a space where no one was necessarily people. Of course, he was not the only gay man in my neighborhood, but he was young. And it was like very much a contrast to like all the other hip hop flavor that was happening around, you know? So, but thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all for listening, you know, that's right.
That was, please keep going, keep writing.
Thank you.
Gloria, please. And then Arlenis and Kilson.
Okay.
Love to hear from you guys. Julissa to India.
I need to go. Sorry. You know,
Oh,
I really love this workshop.
Okay.
Bye,
Oh,
Rosalinda.
okay, ciao. Take care. Thank you for coming.
Okay. I remember our large white Victorian house that was lifted up into the sky, up so high so they could build 2 apartment buildings underneath it. We were moving to this Victorian house that was on Rex Road in Hayward, and I still remember the thrill we had driving up in Mom's 1965 baby blue Mustang. And then, like wild animals, we ran up that flight of stairs into the welcoming embrace of that old Victorian house that had dark burnished wooden floors and crafted cabinets. We ran through the front door screaming, through all the rooms screaming in delight that led us to a back door. Peggy and I shouted glee into the air as we busted through that door. We looked down the back stairs that led to a large backyard where nothing grew. It was hard black dirt with a chain link fence around it, marking the territory. As I stood at the top of the stairs, I noticed the cold stare of a young guy looking at us. This teenager later became a playground friend. Only the chill in his eyes was like if he tasted something sour that upset his stomach. And suddenly this old Victorian house felt haunted. And I felt a coldness creeping into my body. And the delight of finally having my own room slipped away. Let's go back inside, I told my sister.
That was, did you just write that?
Yes, yes. But I thought about
Wow.
this house has been in my thoughts a long time because it was haunted. And it
I
was
love that. I love that. I think just to quickly say something about this piece that I really liked. I love how you said how your body felt towards the end, because that's a sense of like, whenever we're writing something, some of the things that we get attached to as people is like our senses: smell, touch, taste, sound. And when you're talking about your body, it puts us in a place, it puts us in a place with you where we're really leaning in to see how you're feeling, because it becomes really intimate. So thank you for that. I could see the whole house. I could see you going through these doors, and I could see it was just very visual for me. And from like the resonance, you have a very lovely voice. I could tell that this really meant a lot for you. And when you said that the house went up to the sky to live these buildings, I was like, what is going on here, man? Yeah, I love the poetry. I love the poetic visuals that you gave me. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me share.
No, thank you for writing it. Erlanis, Kilson?
Yeah, I wanted to tell Glory also, like the gentleness and how the story was told. It was like, for the first time, I wasn't scared. Like I was in a haunted house and I wasn't scared. Like you walked me through in a very like I was held throughout the whole time. So it was really beautiful to experience.
Yeah, yeah.
If I just add real quick, if you don't mind, like I love the visual descriptions as well, because like it made me so glad that all eyes were on you while you were reading, because when you mentioned like the cold in his eyes, from tasting something sour, that type of stuff, like I caught myself on reflection trying to see what that looked like. So I'm so glad that like all eyes were on you at that part. So yeah, the descriptions were really on point for me.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
Kilson, go ahead.
I was raised with ladies go first.
You're gonna battle it out.
I'll go. All right, let's see. I remember feeling jealous of my classmates. Oh, actually, first, this is kind of like go full circle, like kind of like we did in the first one, writing to someone. So this is like writing to my parents in a way. So I was like, I remember feeling jealous of my classmates for having things that we didn't have. As a kid, I always wished for like games and going to the movies and taking vacation. These are all things that it seemed like everybody else was doing on the regular, while we used to struggle just to rent a tape from Blockbuster. I notice now that it was a struggle. I took for granted what you two did, up and leaving your home country and moving to a place where you guys didn't even speak the language. You worked in factory for 12 plus hours just to save up enough money so a family of 8 can live in a 2-bedroom apartment. Mom, you missed out on meals, making sure we were fed, saying, si mi hijo no come, yo no como. And eventually, Pops, you took up 3 jobs where sometimes we'd even get to see you on the weekends unless we went to go work with you, often voicing, yo no quiero esta vaina para ustedes. All so we could just get that house that you guys dreamed about when you left Mocha. What I notice most now is how selfish I was and thinking of only myself when both of you put so much work into thinking about all of us.
Yeah, that was strong, bro. That was powerful. That was beautiful. I don't know what to say because, you know, we're all immigrants. We all know what it means to come from a different country, our parents at least, and like struggle to be here and try to make it. So that hits anybody and everybody. When you're talking about your dad and your mom and you put in the little voices, and I was picturing your mom or your dad, I forgot who you said, but I was picturing them working 12-hour shifts at a factory. So this is, you know, and it pops out to me, you don't have to keep it. But just like I've been like throwing little things and suggestions to people, like if you choose to continue to work on this piece, because I think you should, I would love to see you on stage do this with the idea that when you're talking about your mom or your dad working at a factory, that we see you do that. That we see you be in the factory working physically el trabajo que tu pai estaba haciendo. And so we get to see that. We get to see your mom working in a factory. Like it'll hit you in a way that it won't hit me because that's your piece, but it'll hit. And when it hits you, it's gonna be beautiful. I guarantee it. I wish we had time to do some of that work where we take on the work of a parent and we embody that person. But you have an opportunity to do that here. I mean, you guys all do in your pieces. So specifically when you have a parent working like that, 12-hour days, and it means something to you because I can feel it. Don't be afraid to, in your own time, in your own process, investigate that in your body and figure out what it means to like just physically in your bedroom or something, go and, you know, whether they were just getting up and down and putting up boxes somewhere or pressing a button, doing that for like 12 hours, which is, we've had a parent that's done that. So yeah, thank you. That was great, man.
I agree. That was powerful. Kilson, I welled up and I actually, through your words, I felt the labor. So it would really be beautiful to like,
yeah.
I don't know, but you definitely inspired me to get in that because I wrote about something that it was like my parents, but you offered me a perspective into like, there's way much more, you know? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and read my piece. And I remember I remember feeling what I'm feeling and being punished for speaking. I remember being greeted by shame and violence when I refused to be suffocated in silence. I remember being too fat for your liking. I remember being too free for your chains. I noticed my light was too bright for your darkness. I noticed you was seeing you when you looked at me and you couldn't stand it. I noticed I was you the day I finally saw me. Jariah, please. I noticed I was you the day I finally saw me. That day I was invited to see the faces of the voices I've been fighting. Mommy and Papi fucked me up and I couldn't even hide it. So it was like, hearing me, right? And then like Kilson, you offered me this space where it's like, oh, there's definitely much more to this. And
Arlenis, that was beautiful too. And that was so like open and authentic and honest. Thank you for going there. A thing that I wrote was too fat for your liking. That line, that one line hits you. Sometimes it's not about the quality of or the quantity of what you say, but like the efficiency of how you're saying it. And that is, yeah, wow. I wanted to know who you were talking to. I wanted to know who you were talking to so bad, girl. You know, that was really beautiful. I mean, you guys all have done like beautiful work. I know Angie's looking at me with the hand in the mouth like we got to go. So this has, first of all, Arlenis, that was beautiful. I want to know who you were talking to. That's the only like, not even feedback, but like thing that pops up to me. Not because you must tell me, but because of my own selfish reasons. And I actually think that this is the beginning of something more. It's so intimate and it feels like a confession. Like even the way you were saying it with like a real beautiful vulnerability that made me want to like peek in. I felt like I shouldn't be here listening to this. So yeah, gosh, I wish we had more time. I wish we could do this longer.
We are gonna have more time on this because come January, you get to sign up to a series to write out your one-man show, right?
Yes, I was gonna say, Andres, create more time because we need more of this.
So for you,
Yeah.
for those of you who are interested, for the sake of, making sure that we reach out to you, please put your email in the chat. And when we set up the registration, we will email you with that information, just in case you don't see it. If you're not subscribed to our website, please do so, because we also send out notifications there and we post it all over social media. But if you want to receive a personal email reminding you that it's coming up, then please share your email address in the chat. Andres, do you want to speak a little bit about what you're going to do in your workshop?
You're so tricky, Angie. I love you so much. So yeah, my goal is to have people who want to like explore and dive and really feel comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I really want to help just be a guide to creating and facilitating your own solo show, so that it's right now what it looks like. It's 9 weeks. We're gonna bring some people in. We're going to write a lot. We're going to talk about how to direct yourself or how to work with a director. We're going to do a presentation of a 25-minute work in progress at the end of the 9 weeks. I will give every single person that takes the class an hour of just private coaching at a location in person. If you're here or if you're not here, we'll figure that out. But yeah, the goal is so that you leave the 9 weeks with your own solo piece. And we will do it in a place that you can invite your family, your friends.
Wait, so they're going to perform it?
Huh?
They're going to perform their solo piece?
Yeah. I mean, come
Okay,
on.
because you say you just saying the goal is for you to have written
No,
a
no, no,
solo
no.
piece, but there's a
I said,
performance part which they need to
yeah.
mentally prepare for. Because writing is one thing.
Yes, we're gonna do some acting. We're gonna do some
Yeah,
acting.
so you gotta be ready to be in front of an audience
We're gonna
and
do some acting.
perform that solo piece.
We're
That
gonna
is
do
what
some
we're going
acting.
for.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's gonna
And we're
happen.
gonna keep it for New York City based folks, because this is going to be an in-person. Well, the workshops are going to be virtual. So if you just want to come in for the writing part and you completing that piece, that'll be great. But there's a performance factor.
There is a performance factor. There's also on the 8th class, the goal is to work with each individual for an hour, where we'll just like go over the piece, talk about blocking, talk about dramaturgically what works, what doesn't work, what do we want to keep, what don't we want to keep, and yeah, get it ready to be performed in front of an audience. Yeah.
Will you be able to offer that 1 hour consultation virtually for those people who may be, for the folks who aren't in New York City, but maybe want to put up the show wherever they're at?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I don't have the answers to a lot of the things that I'm telling you right now. I like to go by what the need of the collective is. If somebody isn't available for whatever reason, we'll figure it out.
How many of you folks are interested? Arlenis is already signed up, so
Arlenis is already signed up. Jesus.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Arlene signed up the first day that she performed her. I signed her up. That's what it was.
It's gonna be.
She's gonna challenge herself and do that. So everyone's raise their hand. Majority, Julie, Gloria. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And only one person shared their email in the chat.
I have to give you guys my email, and I'm not really great with social media. Because
he's going to become though.
Oh God.
I want to share that it would be exciting to do this because as a child, you know, as a teenager, we didn't have money to go to performances. But this year I went to see Maria Ponte. She did a one-woman show and was so powerful. She's great. Oh my God, it was fabulous about the relationship with her.
Maria's great.
Oh, so yes, I would be excited to learn how to do that. Oh, thank you.
No, I mean, thank you. I'm just grateful that I'm in the space with people trusting me and sharing their stories. I know how that feels. I know how scary that could be. So thank you. And thank you, Angie, thank you, Yadi, for making the time, for organizing this. Appreciate it. So much love. Yeah.